Razzle, my goodness. Doggone. It's a Friday.
Are you
Hey,
gonna dance, Avis? The cuff dance?
What's happening?
Friday, folks.
happy Friday.
It's a Friday. It's the end of the week. It's
Scorpio
Friday.
season.
Yes, it is. Happy birthday, Belinda.
Happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Belinda.
Yay. Happy
Birthday, Belinda.
I'd like to thank my mom, my dad for this moment. Thank
Yes.
You missing somebody else too?
For my birthday moment?
Yes, because he gave you a shout out today.
Okay. I was thinking of people that made me, but okay. Thank you, Latif.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it. He gave me a shout out.
Well, really, what Roy was saying is that we would have not even known you if it wasn't for Captain. That's what he was saying. He was saying, like,
Keep coming.
thank Captain. Captain, come. Captain, come.
Thank you for sharing, Latif.
Look, even though she did not want to be our friend, and we was like, listen, chick,
You gonna be our friend.
You're gonna volunteer as my friend.
She didn't, babe. She didn't. She
I've
said
been
hi like
stung
this.
by one
Hi.
or two Scorpios, and I am not afraid. You're gonna be my friend.
Is that what
Latif.
happened? I mean, there are a
Belinda
lot.
said hi
Thank
like
you.
this. Hey.
Hey. Hey, girl. Hey. Hey, boy. Hey.
And guess what? I did the same thing, Latif, when he pulled up in that big old truck, whatever he was driving. I don't know who did. Pulled up in the heights, talking about hey to my wife. Okay, now you got about one more haze than me. Okay.
See,
I got out and shook your hand.
Yeah, but you shook my hand like this. Hey, man. You shook a
That's
little
right.
extra hard, teeth.
That's right. That's right. All right. Let you know. Let them know.
Nothing like a good old pissing contest. Way to go.
You don't say that.
It was. I might have shrugged my shoulders at him too, Dwight.
Right.
What are y'all pissing about, though? What I need to know.
Because I didn't
I
know him.
voted.
Thank you for voting, Jessica.
Yes.
I wish
didn't
we had
help,
10 more
but I-
like
Right. Right.
It just helped me
Let's
feel
vote.
better. But
Let's vote again, December 8th,
is that Georgia?
In Georgia, yeah, December 6th.
Yeah.
December 6th. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Something
gotta
wrong
vote.
with that picture right there in Georgia. I'm gonna leave that alone.
Listen,
Can you
everything.
put that
everything-
picture up?
Can't
It's
leave it
horrible.
alone. That's the problem. We need to
that?
meddle with it.
How?
Aye.
Wow.
So, Dwight, go ahead and give us a recap of the election.
Do I have to? No, I'm just
Uh,
on well, you posted up the picture. So Senator Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker somehow are going to be in a runoff against each other. Another runoff for Senator Warnock. This is the second time that he's had to go through,
Oh, yeah,
overtime.
he did.
Overtime for his Senate seat. So he's used to it, but no one got above 50%. And in the state of Georgia, there's a 50% plus one requirement to declare a winner. So neither person got above 50%. So December 6th, the state of Georgia, I'll get to do it all over again. Unfortunately, Sister Stacey Abrams did not make it through. She was not victorious, but I don't want to end on a sour note. Maryland made history, electing the third Black governor in the history of the United States. Shout out to Wes Moore.
Coming home.
There was a lot of down ticket history being broke. The state of Minnesota, who had never had a Black woman in their state Senate, elected three
Wow.
on the same night. So that's super important. Pennsylvania elected its first Black woman to Congress, sister by the name of Summer Lee. And even here in Florida, we broke history. Afro-Latino young man by the name of Maxwell Frost became the first Gen Z member of Congress. So 25 years old, out of Orlando, started doing a lot of activism around after the shooting at Stoneman Douglas.
Say his name.
Maxwell Frost. So there was definitely some barriers broken, some history made last night, and in spite of what happened in Florida. Florida's a whole nother story.
But let me ask you this, Dwight, on a serious note. It seems as if, I don't know, maybe it's just me, that Florida continues to try to recycle the same strategy and continues to fail in its attempt. I'm being very general in
No. Yeah.
comments right now.
And that's not a Florida thing. It's every state thing where people they beat up on each other. They try to, use these shallow talking points instead of talking about real life issues.
Right.
Like here in the state of Florida, we're dealing with a housing crisis, right? Like literally over the last 2 years, people's rents and in some cases mortgages have ballooned exponentially. And so the fact that you had neither party talking about that, like how are we going to solve that problem, right? Like how are we going to deal with inflation? How are we going to deal with the price of gas? How are we going to deal with the price of milk, eggs, etc.? Really kind of turned people off. They were talking about everything but. And so that was a countrywide problem where we actually saw low voter turnout. So by example, 2018, we had about a 61% turnout in 2018. By comparison, this year we only had about a 52% turnout, and that's statewide. So it fell by almost 10 points.
There were a lot of people saying that they felt like the energy was low. No one really truly came out to engage them.
Right. That's the thing. I mean, at the end of the day, people want to hear you. They don't want to hear you beat up on the other person. They don't want to hear how you're going to be just the opposite of the person you don't like. People want to actually hear you talk about things that matter. You're gonna be sending, kids to college soon. Let's talk about college tuition, right? You're gonna be, we got folks here who got kids in college, right? So, like, these are some of the issues that never seem to make it make the light of day during these campaign cycles, and so we got to consider.
Let me ask you this: people were saying other things like they needed some energy. What does energy and engagement look like? Like, what could have shifted? I'm just saying, let's just throw some things out there. What could have shifted in the engagement piece that possibly could have ignited people to get out and vote?
Well, history tells us, at least on the presidential side, people like new, people like fresh. And what I mean by that is whether it was Bill Clinton, whether it was John F. Kennedy, whether it was Barack Obama, in all those examples, those
Even Trump,
even Trump, right? Those are Democrats and Republicans that came out of kind of nowhere,
right,
to excite their base, right? And so people were able to latch on to something that was new, fresh, exciting, and that is what kind of like drove the excitement level. And even in the case of Joe Biden, even though people were fearful of Trump, what excited people about Joe Biden was his connection to Barack Obama at the end of the day, right? Like that is what he's been able to kind of live off of. But now that he's the president, he has to kind of make his own bed.
do something.
But those are the kinds of things that people like the build of energy. Even when the second George Bush ran, calling himself a compassionate conservative, like even though he had the family name, because he was new to the electorate, people kind of really got excited about that.
Okay. Because I was curious as to what that meant, excited.
Look, when you said engagement, you said what does that look like with engagement? I was like, engagement. They need to engage with them more.
Oh, that's this and the family parade was an engagement.
That's true.
Engagement.
I want to know about tomorrow, like, because now that we know DeSantis is going to run for president, like, how do we prepare for that in the next 2 years?
I want to ask a question to her, Dwight, before you answer.
Yeah.
Are you asking as it relates to Floridians, what happens to his seat?
No. How do we? Floridians and
I just know how he's running Florida. How's it going to run?
How do we stop the rise?
How you stop that, man?
All that.
Because I saw a lot of work done in this community.
Hey,
Like,
Michelle. Hi.
3 days in a row,
I saw Florida Rising doing work in Florida. I saw the NAACP, especially the South Dade branch, and I even participated in their phone bank. And there was a lot of work being done. And on those phone calls, people said they were going to vote, but I'm just concerned about DeSantis going to DC.
Right.
And who do we have? How are we going to counter that? What's the plan?
Well, I think we've already encountered the worst. So
we have.
You think?
Careful what you wish for, right?
well, listen.
I don't think so.
Maybe not. But what we've saw over the last couple of years has not been great.
Right.
So let's
But
not.
I'm saying it can get worse.
Are you saying that the worst is
Well,
Trump?
it could possibly get worse, but I'm just saying, like,
Nah,
you
dude.
have
You have
Probably-
fuel on one side and people are ignoring the situation on the other side. And
Right.
those two things come
I
together.
don't know if you can
make it
Belinda,
worse.
I don't know if you can really, how do you counter that? Like, you get out and encourage folks to vote, and
Right. You send out that message nationwide because the people didn't show up down here in Florida and didn't turn out in masses of numbers, then
Georgia.
it's something that we got to do nationwide.
Right.
Got a lot of work to do, people.
Mhm.
Yeah, 100%. But I also would remind folks that we know the answer to that question, right? Like when we really get mobilized as a community, it really has nothing to do with a party or even a candidate physically kind of engaging with us.
Yeah.
It has everything to do with us attaching on to the momentum. So if we harken back to 2008, many of us never had a chance to go to a Barack Obama rally or interact with him directly, but we were enthusiastic about the idea.
Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself.
I'm not even speaking for myself. I'm just saying in general. I'm talking about the broader audience. Jessica.
Oh, okay. Because I know I said
that's fair,
down.
Dwight. That's fair. That's fair.
I said
You
down.
know, but it's like I knew Barack Obama was going to win when I saw that lady right there by the shopping center selling bootleg T-shirts. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that kind of.
Right. You're saying it's like when you go into the flea market and you see the latest Gucci bag,
Right.
and you're like, now that's the hottest bag right there that Gucci has out.
How much is that?
Dwight, did you see that when Trump was
had
voting?
all the
though?
colors,
When Trump was voting? When Trump was running?
I saw
did you
that from
see
the other side, 100%. Like they were
You
making
saw-
up.
Was
bags.
it the hat? Was it the hat?
The
or
hat.
It was the hat.
The hat.
It was the
The
hat.
hat. It
But
was the hat.
that's my point though. On that side, it's always consistent, and there's always a consistency in numbers that come out to promote their agenda. So even though Barack did win the White House, he didn't have the House,
Right.
and they made it perfectly clear that you ain't gonna get nothing done in these 4 years.
Well, no, remember he had the house for 2 years, and then the Tea Party came 2010, and that's when it got real.
And we ain't heard from the Tea Party since.
But they
Well, they
coming
turned-
back.
What
But
you
they
mean?
couldn't-
They just turned into they turned into Trumpers. What you mean?
Right.
Right.
Well, I understand that, but you know,
Yeah,
it's
it's
been,
just a different
And
name,
they're going to be behind DeSantis. That's
and
what
they're
I'm
gonna be
saying.
behind DeSantis, and that's my point. Like
no,
like
I'm
they are
talking about
always
being vocal and
consistent.
loud. They might have turned into Trumpsters, but we didn't. I can't remember in my
They didn't
whole
need
life,
that.
and me and my all 50-something years to hear about this daggone Tea Party until Obama, and then once Trump won, all of a sudden it's just quiet.
But so who do y'all think is going to be behind Trump or DeSantis since they're
Same
both?
people.
But
It's
then
gonna be
they're
the same
split
people,
like
it's gonna be a different
That
name.
was split it. Let's
it's
a
gonna
different name,
like
that's
it's
all.
gonna split into two different things. It's not gonna be like
No,
These are all the
DT, I don't
Republicans.
think it's gonna split. They all look.
but
alike.
Trump is already putting it out that he does not like Ron DeSantis now. Like
Yeah.
he's
Listen,
going up against
Well,
Ron
that's
DeSantis.
the competition now.
He might say that, but one thing that I do know, they stick together.
But they're
They
not
roll-
gonna stick
So
together.
do you
They-
think DeSantis is going to back down?
They're not
Florida
gonna stick
rolls
together about this.
on-
They're gonna
No, they're
split.
not.
They're not
Florida
gonna stick
rolled
together.
Ron DeSantis and
I
Florida
believe it
has
when I
rolled
see it.
out
I believe it when I
because
see it.
they were all behind Trump and they felt like Ron was one of his people.
Right.
Now he's
Yeah, when
coming out
Trump
against
went
them.
against him,
It's a
they
little-
stepped back
Yeah.
from
They
Trump.
like,
Like,
wait a
what are you
minute.
doing?
Uh-oh.
Hold on.
Listen.
So what you need to do, you need to look back at when Trump was in office. There were
Trump don't care
several
about
Republicans.
nobody.
There were several Republicans, and there were several high-powered Republicans that did not agree with him, but they jumped on board anyway
Yeah.
because he was there and he was the man in charge. And so
but she's talking about prior to them having this one person. She was just pontificating.
Ooh, hold on, girl. Hold on.
Where's my drink?
Miles Jr.
Okay, she about to take your job.
We miss you, Miles.
What would happen when they're one party speaking out, and and she's talking about the truth here, because they was political strategists were talking about this after Ron won his seat back, and they were saying that Trump pretty much he went out and started, I think he was rallying for Dr. Oz, and there was this backlash because he actually started trying to assist, and how they were calling it the Trump effect, and that he was doing the same thing, speaking against Ron DeSantis. And then people in that party were like, wait a minute now.
Right.
Now we like you, but what you're not going to do is talk about Ron.
Listen, I don't know if y'all saw the petty tweet Trump sent out. Trump said, that was cute, Ron, but I got 1 million more votes than you did back in 2020. So
he's not faithful to anybody. He cares about himself.
Nobody.
No, he doesn't. But listen, I would not be surprised to see them on the same team.
Oh, maybe. Are you saying VP and vice president? Oh,
that's what you're saying.
Never thought about that. Never thought about that.
I was saying the same
thing. That happened to White?
Either one of y'all say that.
No, I didn't either, Belinda. I'm right there with you.
White.
Never did I hear vice president and president on the same.
Never heard that.
Man, I'm more than a jock, okay? I think.
I said no, that can't happen.
That's what I was saying, though. I was saying the same thing. Like,
Prince shaking his
it's going to
head.
be the same ticket. Like, they're going to go in the back room and they're going to be like, "Look, dog, let's hash this out because we can take over the world."
Why is the White shaking his head? Wait.
Yeah, I want to know why.
When do they come up with their vice presidents? Don't they? Do they do that before?
Egos that big would never, ever,
Listen,
ever.
Dwight.
I don't know, Dwight. I don't know, Dwight.
First of all, Donald Trump's never going to be someone else's vice president.
That part,
no,
right?
we know that. But
Ron DeSantis has no earthly desire to be in that position, because here's what, to Jessica's earlier point, there is such a thing as a Trump effect. So even if Trump were to say, "I want you to be my guy," he would actually drag down Ron DeSantis's popularity.
I don't know.
He doesn't want to be that shadow.
And again, this is just the historian brain in me. This same thing happened when
DeSantis runs.
This same thing happened when Gerald Ford and Ronald Reagan were in discussion, and they had the same conversation.
Oh, right. Well, tell him what to do.
No, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, because I've seen enemies.
No, Trump's ego wouldn't let Ron be on that same ticket.
Both of them need.
No, how many times have y'all seen people say something bad about somebody, and next week they be on their team?
We're gonna talk about this a lot in the next 2 years.
Exactly.
Their message will be the same. But they, like, Marco Rubio could have never been Trump's vice president, and Trump would have never asked Marco Rubio.
I was gonna say he's not even the caliber of person.
But Marco Rubio would definitely jump on board. Lindsey Graham, same thing, was talking junk back on board. Them jumping back on board, you're absolutely right. But being president and vice president,
listen,
no
that would be their strongest.
We hear you.
I agree, honey. That will be their strongest route into reclaiming the White House.
Yes.
So on to what Dwight was saying, jumping on board and off and jumping back on again. Now, hello, what in the world is going on? Now, last week we talked about this. We said Kyrie is getting backlash about this documentary, book, whatever, on Amazon. Jeff Bezos wasn't even discussed. NBA put out a suggestion to Amazon to say, if you don't pull it, then we think that you should, at a minimum, explain why you have
I
this.
don't know about that, Janie.
This
Janie, I don't agree with you, Janie.
Oh, that's Janae. She pronounces her name.
Janae, I don't agree with you.
Okay, so here's the fact. Has anyone seen the documentary? That's just what I want to know. I want to know, has anyone seen the documentary who has so much
got the book.
Huh? Yeah,
Captain ain't read it. Captain ain't read it yet.
Did you open the book or you just have it on your shelf?
600-page book.
It is not on the shelf. It's on this couch. Please stop that.
Don't do that. Don't do that, Belinda. Don't do that.
So if anyone saw the clip of the head of the
Call me Janie. Yes, girl. Janie, you have to put a phonetic spelling behind that.
What is it, Janae?
Miss Janae.
Janae Tate.
Janae Tate, my bad.
Hello News.
But if anyone saw the interview with the ADL head, he talked about the excerpt from the documentary that they deem the most problematic, and that is this notion that in there they say that white Jews caused the Holocaust, right? Like that's the snippet that he says is so problematic. Now, mind you, Kyrie said nothing about, like, Kyrie wasn't promoting that. He didn't talk about that. He wasn't espousing that.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about last week this notion of it really kind of talking about the notion of Black people being the first Hebrews, Black people being the original Hebrews, and that being the thing that Kyrie was like
promoting or
Black folk.
Right.
But here's the thing: Adam Silver came out and said that he had a conversation with Kyrie, and he says most definitely, there's no doubt in my mind he's not anti-Semitic. Like it took you a week to figure that out. Like, what are we talking about? But and then here's the thing: then you come back and say, well, Twitter has to, Jeff Bezos has to have some responsibility. Twitter, Amazon Prime, all these folks have to have some type of responsibility. You can't make this guy who did not make this film or documentary. How can you make this guy be responsible for something that he's just like, hey, watch it. I want to watch something that maybe empower me, or maybe I could learn from it. But you really want to create this narrative and paint a picture of who you think Kyrie Irving is, and it's not right. I don't think it's right. That's all.
Well, from what I understood, that Kyrie said, let's have a discussion about this. I thought that was the nature of the tweet, period. It was, I want to talk about this.
Oh. Yeah.
I don't even think he wanted to talk about it. I think he was just like, yeah, I saw this thing. It was interesting.
He's about Black people, Dwight. You know that. He's about Black folk.
Yeah, we all do that.
Mm-hmm. What did Janae say? There was a racist part of it.
I don't know if there was a racist part of it.
That was a great point of truth that Black people would be calling for anyone who. I don't know.
No, I mean, she's got an interesting point, right? Like,
I don't know.
Like if we were sitting there talking about Birth of a Nation, right? Like, if someone was sitting there talking about, y'all should really check out Birth of a Nation. It's got some interesting points.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this, Dwight.
We might be like, slow down a little bit. So I'm not mad at the Jewish community for protecting themselves. I think Black folks should be equally protective of our own brand as well.
Mm-hmm. I think that I agree that we all should protect, but I think that what I am going to say is that we're all beholden to someone. We all are. There's freedom that comes when the bag is not your interest, nor is it your moral compass, and you are able to absolutely express yourself regardless of what other people think. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just who he is. Thus, he didn't get a vaccination. He has his own thoughts. He does what he wants to do. I think more people should and express their truth.
Yeah.
100%.
Period.
I mean, he's not your average athlete.
Whether I agree with him or not, if you had come talking about Black people and I disagreed, I disagree. Mm-hmm. I'm not canceling you. I'm not calling for you to lose your job. That's just my opinion. I'm not going to stop breathing because you shared your opinion. Thank you for just enlightening me of who you are. And then with freedom of speech, there's consequences.
But
Yeah.
I feel you on that, Jessica. But it goes back to the point I was trying to raise last week. We live in a different world where we're digesting information way different than we once did. Like David Duke existed and had a platform back in the 70s and the 80s. And guess what? We didn't realize that he was out there espousing those things because we didn't have to digest that information because it didn't bubble up to the top. Now you got people with, again, millions of followers and a platform to kind of say what they want. And it's, on one hand, it's like, great, you're letting me know that you're a racist or you're letting me know that you're this, and I get to see it. But it's like, now it's dominating, like it's allowed to dominate the space.
But who's making it dominate? Is the media providing a platform?
Right?
See, I'm the same person who said that Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, just because they have a platform doesn't mean that they have to do all of these things for whomever you deem them to be able to do it for, because you think that it's important when their walking path may be completely different. Kyrie's walking path may be a call for people to be enlightened and for them to actually question whether or not things are right. We all have the ability to do it and not. It goes like to the point of somebody tweeted that the people who are cashiers at Publix are telling Kanye that he's no longer a billionaire. Your opinion is great in your sphere, in your world.
Right.
And then you bring those prejudgments in when you try to tell someone else what they should or should not do with kind of their walk. And last point,
yeah,
maybe you weren't called to do it. Maybe you weren't called to have that heat because you can't stand it. You look at me and say, "Oh, girl, I don't know how you could do it." I'm doing what I do, what God called me to do, not what he called you to do and what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I'm in my lane doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But you can still have your opinion about what you wouldn't do, what I'm doing, but you're not called to do what I'm doing.
Right. So here's my thing. I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think what I'm basically trying to convey is that has been the truth since the beginning of mankind. The idea that people have had their lanes, had their opinions, had their thoughts and ideas, and that's fine. The problem is when there is such a thing as truth, there is such a thing as fact, and that gets blown apart or undermined because the fact that someone's getting retweeted 100,000 times versus your fact being retweeted 10 times now says that the person with 100,000 retweets is telling the truth, and the person actually espousing the fact is not, because they didn't get the same level of love as this person, and that's the danger in the moment. And I'm not saying that's all I'm saying is that we live in a very dangerous world when fact all of a sudden has no meaning or has no value or has no worth, or moreover, the worth is justified because somebody feels that your point is more inflammatory, more provocative, or more in alignment with where they feel.
Mm-hmm. But remember now, this is why I brought you on the panel in 2018, because we talked about fact versus like popularity and someone putting the information out. And there is a responsibility that you do have with your platform. Having a responsibility with your platform and your sphere of influence does not mean that I dictate what I think that you should be responsible for doing in your life. And that's all I'm saying. Yeah. And I'm saying that some people are not, livelihood is not dictated by your ability or inability to understand what they're called to do. They're not beholden to the bag. That's all I'm saying. Some people are out there doing it and saying, I don't
give up. Let me finish your sentence. I don't give a fizz. Okay, go ahead. But listen to your. But I mean, I think the other thing that I get. How can this man be responsible? Right? We talk about responsibility. Dwight, you talked about this last week, and I understand there's a level of accountability we all have to have. But I think when you're talking about somebody who is sitting in his seat, who has this limelight, who may have X amount of followers, we're talking about a documentary that's been out since 2018. We're talking about a platform that has 200 million subscribers.
And a book. The book was out.
And a book. Mm-hmm. And now he's responsible for this. That's the part where I'm like, he can't be responsible about something that has been around for a couple years, and now he has to be. But where's Twitter's, where's Amazon Prime's responsibility for this thing that's been out for quite some time? So that's the part where I'm like, it can't be just Kyrie. Kyrie's brought light to it, and I think that's the part where I'm like, we talk about especially black
responsibility. Yes.
Right. And we always talk about the NFL, like, hey, there's no black head coaches, and Roger Goodell well, maybe we ain't even talking about the owners. We always are missing a component of responsibility, and that's where I have the problem.
No, what I'm saying, follow me what I'm saying now.
Yeah.
If we're going to take this in isolation, you're absolutely right, Roy. He has, for this moment, Kyrie has no responsibility more so than Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or anybody else who's allowed this documentary to exist. When I talk about the notion of personal responsibility, I brought this up last week, was everyone has the ability to grow. Everyone has the ability to learn and educate themselves on a number of things. The danger that Kyrie finds himself in is, again, if Kyrie had said something 10 years ago and this was 1980, no one would know because there's no platform for you to go fact check it. But the fact that Kyrie was out here on blogs talking about the earth was flat to the point where he had to come out,
that has nothing to do with it,
and admit to the world that
I tweeted it, nobody would have been checking for it.
Right. But
they are pinpointing Kyrie.
No. What I'm saying, this is stuff that he was doing a couple years ago.
Has nothing to do with anything, though, Dwight.
But Kyrie. Again, you're not understanding. Yeah, understand what I'm.
Make me understand. I want to go where you're going. Go. Tell me where you're going.
What I'm saying is, when you put stuff out there, whether you are a rapper, whether you are a singer, you're now going to be victimized by the totality of the information that you've put out there, because we live in a world now where I can go back to your tweet from 2016, repost it, and remind the world that, guess what? This is who this person said that they were.
This is truthful. That's what it
is. Wait. I'm going to add this.
All I'm saying is, for Kyrie, this is a moment where, and this is my frustration, right? Because you could definitely be a leader for your generation if you wanted to, not that you have a responsibility to, but the reason now that you're getting drugged is because of the totality of the things that you've been espousing,
Janae,
now having consequence in this moment. And that's all I'm saying is, like, I would love to just be like, Kyrie, be safe, but the reason people are dragging him in this moment is because he has a track record of
I'm gonna counter that, and then yes, Basil, we're gonna go somewhere else. But I want to counter that with the fact that some type of way in the world that we live in, the world has the ability to choose who they would like to magnify.
Bingo.
I think we all on this panel can agree that anything Kyrie says will be magnified. Anything he does will be magnified. Mm-hmm. People around here still talking about Chris Brown and Rihanna, but they don't care that there's this other abusive couple. What's the girl? The girl has missing teeth, and the guy
blue face.
Yeah, okay. They don't care.
Oh, they do.
No, they don't. They don't.
Like that.
They think it's entertainment, and they talk about this abusive relationship. They do not care. So my point behind it, okay, Basil, we are getting ready to go on to the next. My point is just that the world has this way of just picking and choosing who they want to talk about and who they care about. Speaking of caring, yes, Wakanda. Wakanda forever. So who on the panel didn't get to see the movie?
I did not.
Don't spoil it.
Tomorrow.
Look, don't spoil it.
So Birthday Girl and Dwight, who I still don't understand why did
Dwight not see it yet.
out. He didn't reach out to say he didn't go. He didn't.
I mean, you talking about someone who has it on his lapel every week on his show.
see.
I'm surprised he didn't ask to get a role in the film.
I did. Let's start there. Okay, let's be. Let's
Today is like the younger generation. Yeah.
All I'm gonna tell you all who did not go to see the film or didn't go to see it or didn't get to go see it.
So all of y'all went together.
Oh, we all went. Yeah.
Don't say you
Dwight, remember that, Dwight.
We had our premiere party last night.
You know, Belinda, you know, I heard this quote says
We
every
had
day
our
you get up, you have a chance
premiere
and a
party.
choice.
We
You
had
have a
our
chance and
premiere
a choice,
party
and your
last
choice
night.
was to leave.
Your choice
Okay?
was-
You left for your birthday.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
We missed you though.
Don't play victim,
We all
Belinda.
received the invitation at the same time that we all received the invitation to go and premiere it.
I already had my
She knew.
flights.
She knew.
So
I'm with you, Birthday Girl. Don't worry about it.
Thank you, Dwight.
all I
Dwight,
gotta
you know,
say,
your flight got canceled, but she had a choice, Dwight, on what flight to get on and what day.
He
Why
was
didn't he
here
come?
because he said that I said that
I
the
was
theater
supposed
was
to be out
full.
of town yesterday. My flight got rearranged because of Nicole, Hurricane Nicole.
Nicole ain't nice.
So-
You better not date a girl named Nicole because you already see what went on with the weather. Okay.
And my friend was co-producing a play in Wilmington.
That's
I wanted to go
nice.
support
Oh,
her.
she made
I
a
know
choice
you
to go
had
see
something
the
to do.
play.
Thank you.
Birthday Girl said she was going elsewhere. But here's my
Get
only
your wife,
comment
Latif.
about the film. Here's my only comment. In April, who are you tonight? Mario Von Peoples. David, you all
Senior.
tell me if this is a true account for the film. Latif, that's you, babe. You are
Staticky.
staticky.
That's because he's on multiple devices now. I don't know.
I don't see April's name. I don't even see my name on the screen.
He said, "Who's Nicole?"
That's
Yeah.
why?
Hurricane Nicole.
Okay.
Thank
There we go.
you.
Thank you.
So okay, the movie to me was like a little quilt that your grandmother would put together, and it had little patchwork pieces. They were different colors, and they were sewn together, and it was all over the place. And
We can't even really talk about this because we
uh,
gotta go see it today.
You can't be the spoiler though, TT.
We can't.
Right.
We can't talk about this.
Thank you.
All right.
April. Thank
well,
you.
y'all have to. You have to go and see it, whether it's a stitched together quilt or it's just one color.
Now I'm gonna be in there looking for the
Wait,
quilt.
you gotta say the quilt. The quilt took about a year to stitch, though. That's the.
You know what?
It's
Listen,
the
they
it's
said
the
we're gonna take our
anti-Marvel. It's the
time,
Mar-
and
it's
they
the
took
anti-Marvel
their
hate.
time.
Belinda,
Enjoy the
Hate.
process, people.
Wait,
Enjoy the
We
process.
can't talk
No,
about
no,
what
no.
happened
Here's
while
the
we were
thing.
there.
We enjoyed the experience.
Yes.
We can talk about the experience. The experience.
We had a time
Well,
last night.
The experience was the quilt.
Here we go, Dwight.
Different pieces being put together. That was the experience last night.
Yes, the different pieces.
It was a lot of stuff. It was like somebody pressed rewind, somebody pressed turn the power out.
No, Belinda, you don't know. Belinda, for real.
Let's talk about it. 'Cause I really don't
Let's talk about
understand.
it.
Uh,
Let's make everybody come and help us right now.
Yeah.
Everybody press the button.
Yeah.
Press the button at
Yeah.
the same time.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
help us.
Oh my God.
I really
made the
thought
right
though,
choice.
your quilt analogy was like it was a warm blanket that you felt comfortable watching.
Right.
That's what I'm
Right.
gunning. That's what I'm gunning for.
Not
And I
that the
guess-
needle was sticking you and you were bleeding. You gotta get that.
Clearly,
You still feel grandma's love,
Don't.
but
I
you
can't
know,
hear it.
Jessica was like,
TT, tell the truth, TT. Tell the truth,
Put the
TT.
corner real quick.
There's no volume.
Tell the truth,
But that's why I
TT.
kept
We
saying
gotta press rewind.
there's going to be
Stop.
a
Pause.
serious
Don't go. You went
discount.
too far back. Go up some more. It was like we was watching it. We were watching it on a fire stick. That's what
It was TT.
That's
It was
what
worse than a
it
fire
is.
stick.
And
It was the
somebody's
first
cousin-
internet when you had to dial the
internet
internet.
wasn't working.
Okay, full transparency. What they're talking about has nothing to do with the story.
Nothing.
Nothing
That's
with
what I'm
the
saying. That sounds like
nothing to do with the
real shit.
Nothing.
We're talking about the
What I
experience.
talked
That
about,
was
what I
like, oh my
talked
God,
about
my heart
was
is
the
breaking.
storyline. It was this quilt that your grandmother made that had a bunch of little pieces of fabric sewn together,
Dial up.
and then together it made a blanket.
It
Yes.
sounded like y'all was watching
Right.
a bootleg
We
DVD.
were.
Bootleg DVD.
Dwight and I are gonna go see it and come back and tell y'all what happened.
Right. We'll let you know how that real story went.
Well, no. Now the quilt had nothing to do with the fire stick.
No.
It had nothing. It had nothing.
The internet
Look at
connection
Janae.
was not
You
good.
hear somebody's den?
Oh, Janae, we will not say it on this. We will not say where we saw it. We will say that we went to a luxury theater
But
and it was ours, but it
it
was
was good. It was a good
Listen,
time.
But the
We
funny
had-
thing was when it stopped, the attendant was in the theater, and we were like, "My man, the movie stopped." He was like, "Huh?"
Yeah, he was like,
and the lights were on. And the lights were on. I'm like, hello.
I'm like,
We're like, hello, the
it
lights
almost
on.
killed
The
me.
lights
I
are
almost
on.
said,
You don't see nothing
you don't
wrong.
hear nothing? What do you mean? What?
like, dog, you don't hear this quietness? Like,
Right.
Right.
The lights are on. Like you can see
like-
me.
like
Like
you
you
can
didn't
see
time
mean
ago,
so,
everybody.
like,
And he
you
was
don't
like
want
like,
to
time
leave
ago.
the movie.
Like we had just gotten in the movie or something.
Avis, that's how you doing this.
Like, it is what you was just doing.
I said,
It
that's
sounds
the
like y'all
one,
might
right?
have got. Did y'all get the DVD from Carlos? For,
They-
Still doing this.
Carlos?
Right, Dwight. It was. It
Yeah,
was.
it's
It
all
was a
good.
burnt copy.
The movie
That's what
theater.
happened.
Burnt copy, bro.
You got the DVD from Carlos?
And what else
This
did
is
y'all
what
have
shrimp.
to eat while y'all were there? Or smoke?
Food was
Oh my
pretty good.
gosh, my food was so good. I had lobster tacos.
I had lobster tacos too.
and
Ooh.
truffle fries.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
truffle fries were good.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
food was good.
Dana, I don't
I
know
mean,
where
it's just
Dana
good.
is. He had the ribeye. Let me tell you, it was the food and the service was excellent. But but really, what happened? What really happened was, the hurricane Nikki
That
threw all of their system out, and all day long they were having technical issues with the film stopping and starting and having to reboot the system and all of these things. So it actually had nothing to do with that theater, because it was a luxury, very expensive location. It had everything to do with technical challenges, but
I did tell
nothing to do with the quilt. Look, Captain, do you agree that it was like an old quilt sewn together?
It was. It took some time to develop, but I did come and tell you. I said, I do smell a discount
The little things.
in your future.
a big discount. My goodness,
I
Dwight.
do.
I mean, teeth.
I do perhaps a bottle, maybe.
No,
Perhaps
but see, what if they were right in the back going like, you know what? These Negroes think they fancy. They all up in there all white.
Oh yeah, we was looking good. We
They're
were
like, oh, we gonna shut this
good.
down.
What? Avis, you had all white too?
Good.
That's what
Everybody
happened,
had
T.
white.
What kind of glasses did you wear, Avis?
Keith had on
Who I
white.
have on? I mean,
I mean,
I
we
Maybe
came
we're
in
trying to
fly.
get an authentic
And I had
black
on-
experience
And I had on
Yes.
the glistening
with the
white.
bootleg.
That's what it
DVD.
was.
You had a
Glistening
glistening
white.
white.
It was a glistening white.
They were
You
like,
know
"Oh,
what
y'all
I'm saying?
looking fancy." Got a
I
little
mean, look,
Hennessy.
look.
April
look,
and
you
Mark
had-
were matching. Were y'all matching?
you had-
Yeah,
I had on white.
Yes, they had on white. It was everybody had on white except for one person,
Who?
and he.
That would have been me. Thanks to
It
April.
would have been you.
Would not have been. Listen,
Hey, Dwight,
It
you
was-
should
I
see
almost-
yourself, Dwight.
I almost didn't know. Okay, Dwight.
Don't ever
That's what
give
I was
Dwight
saying
a white
last
memo.
week. Dwight. That's what I was saying
And
last
we're gonna
week. I
blame
was
it on
saying,
TT.
Yes, Janae, all for Chadwick.
oh, yeah, yeah.
Did you see the film, Janae? Did you?
But it was.
She posted. Yeah, she
She
saw it.
did.
Hey man,
What did you
I
think about
gotta say this though, because I was so proud that for 2 days in a row, April was early.
Wow.
You gotta see that coming.
I thought you were gonna say we were out there in excellence. I
Hold on now.
Like that.
What 2 days?
I'm gonna give her a shout out on that one. TT.
Was it 2 consecutive days?
Early.
2 consecutive days.
White.
2 consecutive days.
Late,
What did you think about it, Janae? What did you think about it?
2 consecutive.
2 consecutive days. 2 in a row.
Look at that. Marcus says you're welcome.
Marcus.
Way to go, Marcus. Marcus. We appreciate you.
It was not him. It was
One
not
time
him.
when you link
It
with a
was
Marcus.
Marcus.
This is
That's
what
what
it
it
is.
is.
Marcus for the win.
It was not Marcus. Even as
you
the
link
team,
with the
Marcus
Rattler.
even said it wasn't him. He said he was asleep, and I kept telling him to get up. So it was not him.
Do
It was
not
me.
blame.
See, Janae said that during the film she was side eyeing, meaning,
What?
meaning. Wait a minute, Dwight. Wait a minute. Meaning, it was your grandmama quilting that quilt together.
Listen, I love Janae, but she also questioned the Wu-Tang Nas concert. I had a blast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So it just might be.
Dwight,
Dwight, you did-
from Aquarian to
Janae is
Aquarian,
correct.
Dwight.
Hold on.
I'm
Dwight,
gonna
do
tell
know
you
that is a
after the
problem.
film,
Like,
just
not
take
everybody
it
wanna enjoy
for
that.
just pieces put together. Pieces, just your grandmother just doing the quilt.
Mm.
Just the
Listen,
quilt.
I'll keep an open mind.
We'll be
as
okay
I-
and
as I
support the next
participate.
part 3.
You are going to thoroughly be enjoy that experience. I will say
You say
this:
entertained. That's the funny part.
when I walked out today, not yesterday, but today, when I reflected on it, I was happy that my 2022 year included Woman King.
Ooh. Let me tell you.
Because
Oh,
Tell the truth, Latif.
Renee, my
Tell the
goodness.
truth,
Janae,
Latif.
Janae.
Tell the truth. Tell the
No,
truth.
Put that on print. Don't
because it all ties
put that out for the community.
and it
They have nothing to do with one another. Tell the truth. Why?
That's why.
What'd you say?
Steve,
What'd you say?
I don't know what's going
I'm
on.
scared to say it. That's what it is.
That's
All
why.
right, we'll talk more about we have to talk about it next week. We'll talk about it next week after you guys go and see it.
How long did it take for the quilt to come together?
2 hours, almost 3.
Okay.
But you're gonna love the ending.
Okay.
Pull that picture down, Basil. Let me tell you, the ending.
Fantastic.
The ending.
Fire.
Everybody cried.
Sit through the credits. Sit through the credits. Because
Yeah.
that will be the part of the film.
That's gonna get you.
Yeah.
That 60 seconds
Come back.
of the 3
Come back
hours.
every year.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, that's 60
done
seconds.
with y'all.
And don't y'all talk about it until tomorrow.
Look, we in the movie. Like, that's too much.
Right.
That was too much.
I all over myself. Oh my god.
BTU,
It was like,
is the movie over? Is the movie over?
No,
Yeah.
it was not.
You are right.
It was
You are
not
right.
consistent.
The movie is not keeping up with the comic books because
No.
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 It was not a. It was
Yeah.
not.
Don't do that. Don't. I know what
Listen,
you're
I
getting
can say
ready
this though. It was
Come
the
on.
longest credits I've ever been part of.
No.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
but it didn't. But I mean, but it's made for the movie. So I mean, they just transformed it. But the comic book is not. The movie is not like the comic book at all.
At all. At all.
What
What is
hey,
going on
Missy.
Michael Jackson thing.
What is this?
Who is that? Missy?
What's
Missy?
Missy?
Listen.
Damn, Lil Wayne got his face touched up.
That's
BA,
what they're
Missy.
saying. TT.
Oh, that their boo?
He got
No.
his face touched up. They said he got a facelift.
Oh no.
Well, Missy
That's
did
not
do
graphics.
that.
Well, I think Missy's graphics. I think Wayne got the lift.
No, I think somebody just touched the picture up.
Yeah.
What are y'all seeing touched up? Because he still look rough.
That's he doesn't look as
Under the
rough.
neck, the chin line, the jawline.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I
It felt like a 3-hour funeral, but yes, it did. Mm.
and I'm here for that.
I think they edited their face.
If I watched all of Aretha Franklin's, I can at least watch 3 hours of Chadwick.
You're gonna be okay. Yeah, you definitely can.
You absolutely
Lord
will.
have mercy.
Wait
What's
a
going
minute.
on with R. Kelly? What is going on with R.
Why
Kelly?
are we putting this
The
here?
charges, the federal charges,
Right.
is going to be dropped.
You have got to be kidding me. Are
They're
you
about to
kidding me?
be dropped. R. Kelly may be released from jail.
Says who?
But he still got state charges that he doing time for.
Wait, how?
Y'all
Why
ain't done
federal
enough time
charges
for
gonna be
state
dropped?
charges.
Why federal charges gonna be dropped?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Did he get dropped? Don't be
No,
talking.
they-
The feds come in and drop
Oh,
him.
look, the Basil dropped too.
The feds drop him.
Basil said I'm dropping all y'all niggas.
but I don't know if y'all have noticed this though. R. Kelly's music, you've been hearing more of it lately.
Oh, is this Janet? Because she reenacted her what was
Control
that
cover,
Control? Yeah.
You know, she got inducted to the Hall of Fame, Music Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, but she did for Halloween. Was that Halloween that she?
Yeah, that was
reenacted
Halloween. She did that.
Control. She didn't have to do that though.
Oh my God.
First of all, you leave Penny
Listen,
from-
shout out to Janet Jackson for getting
What
inducted
do you
to the Hall
like?
of Fame,
Forget
Sorry,
it.
I didn't have to do that.
to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Go ahead.
Like I feel like
Cinderella.
Janet hate up in here. a
Oh,
little
wow.
And Pepper.
Right.
Cinderella's not a
Y'all wanted microphones
My
around your
mic
mouth to
sounds
sing
nice.
Control.
Check.
Y'all had headsets.
I'm good.
Are you ready?
Yes. Oh, who was that? It was me and who was it? It was Monique, I think. We did
Yeah,
push
it
it
was
for the
all
talent
black.
show. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna tell you, the internet blew up because Spinderella was actually there. And she
Yeah.
But look,
was
You're gonna
included.
put on smiles.
first
like
part
that.
says DJ Spinderella, and there says Salt and Pepper. Okay.
Hey,
Right.
hey, boy.
Wait,
the
what? Say
she was-
it again. Let me see it.
DJ Spinderella says DJ Spinderella, and Salt and Pepper says Salt and Pepper.
Let me see it
Go back
again.
to it.
Basil.
Salt and pepper, salt and pepper, salt and pepper.
Oh
No,
no,
gold
it
is
said
Oh, at the
DJ
bottom.
Cinderella.
Yeah, that's right though.
Yeah.
Listen, Salt and Pepper would not be Salt and Pepper without DJ Spinnerella.
Yeah.
They
All
was
right,
beefing for a
so
while.
I mean, there's been several debates. After she left the group, Salt and Pepper did continue.
But based on her tracks.
When did she leave the group? Or when they was
That's what I'm gonna say. Did she leave?
she left the group when they was old.
She didn't continue to perform with them on tour.
She didn't. Yeah, that was after they had already. Their career was wrapped
Like,
up.
don't get it twisted.
Right.
Spinderella makes money
But
as a DJ. Like,
Yeah.
Latif,
Oh,
you
no.
talking about when they was
Yes.
Nutmeg and Cinnamon, okay?
No, I'm talking about when they was Salt and Pepper. I want to say it was the third album, or it was like
Yeah,
the
what
second.
happened?
No, that's when she
Nobody-
started. That's when they started putting her out as because they have already had a problem because she was like, "I'm part of this too." They started featuring her. They let her rap and stuff.
Right.
That's
What
what
she
her-
said, don't get me twisted, honey, because I was in 5th grade and I was following the news.
That's
Tell
right.
us, Latif, talk your talk.
somebody
And
called Donnie Simpson real quick.
they said she was fired in 2019.
Donnie Simpson.
She
She
was
was
fired.
fired.
Somebody called
It's
Donnie
really
Simpson real
Fired by
quick.
group
This
members.
was when they was 50.
2019.
Well, why
They
was
were
she
not
fired?
young. They was barely holding.
They
on.
weren't still putting out music
They
in
was not
2019.
doing it.
And later
They were not.
sued.
No.
Later sued for breach of contract.
Somebody called Joe Claire so we can confirm this information.
Right?
Somebody.
Look, we might as well
Get
call
together.
Bill Bellamy too while we at it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll tell you the
But-
story.
but-
behind
Somebody
it.
check with Ed Lover.
Lover,
Make sure, you know.
Exactly.
Yes,
Ed
and
Lover.
Nutmeg.
That's right. Because that's who was doing it. Oh, if Chico
Ed
was on here, we
Lover.
would have a story for you about Ed
Well,
Lover.
shout out to them for making the Hollywood stars.
That's good.
Yeah. They paid for their star.
Did they talk to each other?
They
while
all
were
pay
there?
for the
No.
Don't they all pay for
Everybody
it?
pays for
They
it.
all
Okay,
pay
they
for
all
it.
pay for
They
their
all
stuff,
pay
yeah.
for it. They pay for it. You don't
Yeah.
get it for free. They say, "Oh, we'll let you pay for it."
That's funny.
Yes, Saturday Night Live. I'm looking forward to it.
So, what are we expecting on Saturday Night Live on Saturday with Dave Chappelle?
Wait a minute, Dave
Hilarious.
Chappelle Green host Saturday Night Live?
Yep.
Listen.
Yeah.
No, I'm
the
so
third
late.
time.
It's gonna be awesome.
But isn't there controversy about that?
Yeah, some
Yeah.
of the
They have
writers,
a watch
some of the
party.
writers are boycotting.
They said the
We
writers
need to
lost
have
their
a
He
watch
also
party.
said that the writers are
A
working
watch
with him
party.
different
We
ways.
need to have a watch party. We need to have.
Why are they boycotting though?
Wait a minute.
They're still boycotting.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Why did boycott
Go ahead,
anything in life? Jesus?
Go ahead,
because-
Dwight.
because of his
Everything
trans
they could get a
remarks
chance
in the
to
past.
boycott.
Oh yeah, because it's trans remarks.
But come on,
Because
keep,
it's what?
keep coming with the
Because
news.
it's trans remarks. His
It's
remarks
not
in the
just-
trans community.
But it's not just the trans remarks.
He already came out
What's the new stuff?
What
Give the
else?
new tea.
stuff about that.
Someone who is on the show is supposed to be a transgender person. Somebody was asked to come on the show as well. I guess it would be a performing artist. And the controversy was that Dave was asked to host the same time that this trans person was asked to be on the show. Isn't that what the story is? I don't know. What producer? Tell us what we talking about.
No, I just saw that it's going to be him and Black Star. I was excited because I get to see Mos Def, Talib, and Dave Chappelle on the same
That's
show.
all of your.
That's all his guys
Right?
too.
Listen,
Hey,
He
boy,
always
that's
bring his
the
people.
essence of hip hop right there.
Yeah, he
That's
always
it.
bring his people.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Shut up.
says that the show writers are boycotting.
yeah, the show writers are boycotting.
But listen, there was
And
one
none
writer.
of the actual
They not
One of
needed.
the
They not
performers.
needed today.
There's some of
Dave
the
Chappelle writes his own stuff. He don't need none of
Write
it.
his own stuff. He
Right.
don't need y'all.
No, but
He
does
had
he
a
write his own stuff?
He had a skit show.
Oh yeah,
right?
for the show, he writes.
He had a
He writes
whole
his own
TV show.
He had a whole show.
Listen, if y'all saw the last time he hosted the episode, the skit he did, where the companies were doing diversity, equity, inclusion, and calling in the black product folks,
Exactly. That's what I'm talking
that
about.
was hilarious. They had Aunt Jemima
Man.
on
That is what I'm talking about.
Oh yes, I remember
and
that.
Count
One.
Chocula.
You know,
Yeah.
there's stages to freedom. Freedom when you work
Levels.
for somebody who you check in with every day. That's
Mm.
one level of freedom where you're getting a check, and then there's another level of freedom when you have clients that are
Talk your
responsible
talk, Jessica.
Right.
Talk your talk.
for your living and your employees.
Okay,
That's
freedom.
another level,
Okay.
and then there's another level
Mm.
where you get to when your money makes money for you and you're not beholden to the money provider because your money is also a source of revenue. So yeah, that part.
Oh,
Yeah.
girl,
Right now.
you about to have another baby behind that freak. That
Wait
Oh,
a minute.
oh.
Okay.
Let me catch
Time
you.
to end the show.
Let me
Okay, we are
catch
at
you. Let me catch you.
time to wrap it up.
Dwight,
Dwight, what you say? Time to wrap.
wrap it up.
Wrap this
Where's
up.
Mama Pat today?
Belinda, what else are you gonna do for your birthday?
Oh my gosh. My husband allowed me to go out of town.
Oh, nice.
Excited about that. And my sister, my two sisters are here.
Oh,
So
nice.
We're gonna go see Wakanda forever and
All right, for the quilt.
celebrate in Charlotte, North Carolina. So if anybody wants to meet up and buy us drinks, we'll be there.
I don't think Captain is in agreement with that, but that sounds good. That sounds really.
Oh no! If they want to buy drinks, absolutely.
I know him.
That's more money in my pocket.
What'd you say? Okay, all
He
right,
knows.
all right. One time for
Do
the
you want to
drink
see you want to
buyer.
see her gift or whatever?
Yes, let's see her gift, please.
Oh, I did leave a gift there. I don't have it
Yeah.
here. Is
Trash?
it at
Was
home?
it trash? What was
Bring
it?
me that bag.
Way
Dishes.
too much marriage complication going on in the episode.
Okay.
What was it, Belinda?
Over the-
Here's a
doesn't
honeydew
know.
list.
She
What was
doesn't
it?
know.
No, I did. I saw it before I left.
Oh, you did see
Yeah,
it.
I
Okay,
did.
let us see.
Lateef, God bless you.
There were gifts being given to you last night at the theater.
Who gave me gifts at the theater?
You have to discuss that offline.
Thank
Ooh.
you so much for anybody who gave me gifts.
Why your pitch changed, Lateef?
Because I'm serious.
I talk about children like this.
Oh my, yes. Yes.
Okay.
He needs to be spotlighted. Spotlight him, Fathom.
Oh my.
Yeah, that AKA pink and green ski
Where you-
weed backpack. Yes.
Where's she going camping?
Ski weed patrol.
Shut up.
I love it. I love it.
Oh,
I love it.
Yeah.
going
Shout
camping,
out,
Belinda.
shout out
I
to
guess.
KB Collections, Kevin Brown.
Thank you, Lucy.
That dude He's a good dude.
You probably put an air tab in there to keep track on you too.
Yeah, right.
See, that part. Why you gonna go and tell that? She had.
Camera in there.
Does she
That's why I
even
didn't
know
take
anything
that
about the air tag?
It's at home.
That's why she said. That's why it's at home.
Yeah, I got
Oh my God!
That's all they heard. She said. That's why it's at home.
Thank you for adding.
I don't need this right now. What you said?